If you go to Rome, don't miss it. It's a place with our longest history outside the motherland. Do you know what is the oldest Ukrainian Catholic church outside of Ukraine? It's in Rome, the Church of the Mother of God of Girovici and the martyrs Sergius and Bacchus. It's in the center of Rome, in the Monti region. In front of it is the Piazza Madonna dei Monti. And it is today the cathedral of the Ukrainian Catholic Exarchate in Italy, the cathedral for 175 parishes and missions that exist throughout the Italian peninsula. This church was given to the Church of Kiev by Pope Urban VIII in 1638. Already in the 1620s, Metropolitan Veliamin Rudzki sent emissaries to Rome to represent the Kievan Church at the Holy See. After his death, the Metropolitan, Raphael Korosak, spent his last year in Rome and is buried in this church. In different centuries, this church served different functions. It was the residence of the representative of the Kievan Metropolitan in Rome. Those representatives were almost always Basilian monks, members of the Order of Saint Basil the Great. In the 19th century, when the Russian imperial authorities destroyed the Eastern Catholic Church within the Russian Empire and suppressed the Kievan Eastern Catholic Metropolitanate, they tried to take possession of this church in Rome, saying it belonged to Kiev, and we have assumed all legal possessions of the Eastern Catholic Metropolitan. This did not occur, but for many decades in the 19th century, the church was no longer in Ukrainian hands and was allowed to dilapidate. In 1897, Pope Leo XIII returned this ancient church for the use of Ukrainian Catholics. It became a house of studies for Greek Catholic students coming to Rome. It was the Ukrainian College in Rome, the College of the Ruthenians, as it was called at that time. In 1932, a new Ukrainian college was built on the Janiculum Hill by the Vatican, and this building next to the church became the generalate of the Basilian Order until the late 1950s, when the Basilian Order sold this church and the buildings that were connected to it in order to buy a new generalate in the Aventino area. The buildings and the church were to become a college for Latin Americans. However, there was a reconsideration, and the Latin American College sold the church to business people that planned to make it into a nightclub. And it was then that Patriarch Joseph Slipy was released from Soviet exile. He could not believe that this oldest of Ukrainian churches outside of Ukraine was no longer in our possession. Having nothing, having arrived in the clothes of a Siberian martyr, he sought resources, at the time collecting $500,000 to repurchase, and then eventually to refurbish the church of Santa Maria Madonna dei Pascolo, and of the Saints Sergius and Bacchus. Many important events occurred in this church. Ordinations of priests. In these premises, our bishops met in the 70s and even in the 1990s, for the last time in 1996. Today, this small church with the ancient miraculous icon, a copy of the icon of Girovici, is a place where people come to pray. The square is full of noise. There are cafes all around. But Ukrainian faithful stream to this church, finding in the Madonna dei Monti the Girovici icon, and in the old Syrian martyrs, Sergius and Bacchus, who gave their life for the Lord around the year 300, finding in them a place of support. Again, in the 1990s, the parish church of Ukrainians in Rome and in Italy, at that time only one, began to serve the flood of migrants that arrived in Italy. If in the 1970s there were maybe 500 Ukrainians in Italy, today there are 500,000. The bishop for Ukrainian Catholics has his cathedral at the Church of the Mother of God of Girovici and the martyrs Sergius and Bacchus. If you go to Rome, don't miss it. Not only because of the nice cafes, the beautiful fountain, and the ice cream places next door. This is the oldest church that our Ukrainian Catholic community has outside of Ukraine. Say a prayer in gratitude to Pope Urban VIII, his brother Cardinal Barberini, who assisted in transferring the church to our community. Say a prayer for Patriarch Joseph, who restored this church and who prayed there for the freedom, justice, and human dignity of our people. That prayer for our dignity continues today at Piazza Madonna dei Monti, at the Church of the Mother of God of Girovici and the Holy Martyrs Sergius and Bacchus.